You have to be athletically perfect.
Right. You need to have touch. So I don't hate it.
I hate that.
I hate it too.
The waves would be a lot of like
It's
doing
Coriolis effect.
Oh God. Oh my God, that was incredible. Ooh.
Oh.
Wow. I mean, that was.
He's stuck. Oh,
Yeah.
and he poses. You're right, mid-eights.
Might have cheated on it.
Pretend you haven't seen this before.
Believe me, I don't remember other people's scores. Sometimes they would miss your turns, and you'd be like,
That was the best way.
yeah, I've had that happen before. They're like, oh, sorry, we were watching the other guy. And you're just like, what?
If no one saw it, it didn't happen.
That is a phenomenal question. I love that. Who talks trash?
What do happy people do? They spend money.
It's true.
All right, welcome everyone to a special episode of Couch Surfing with Breakwave Energy. Today we have legendary surfer Taylor Knox with us, who has dominated the waves worldwide. And my co-founder Bill Lyman, former Navy SEAL and the driving force behind our innovative wave energy system at Breakwave Energy. Today we're watching WSL Surf City El Salvador Pro Final with Yago Dora against John Florence. Watch to the end. We have a special game, Name That Wave, where you can win a prize. I'm Andres Hernandez, COO of Breakwave Energy. All right, what do we got going on here?
We have El Salvador.
Dora against Florence.
And
Yeah.
you know it's El Salvador because they have full suits on. It's freezing there.
Oh, really?
No, it's like 90-degree water and 90-degree air, you know?
Yeah, there is really no break from the heat and at all when you're there. And to make matters worse, the rocks and the sand are black.
Fire.
So those rocks that you're looking at right now, like
You are
that,
sprinting.
they burn your feet off. They're so hot, and the ones that are in the water are crazy, crazy slippery. Like one of the more dangerous places I've ever had to navigate getting in and out of. Like it's not easy. It's so slippery because the rocks are black. So when they hit the sun, they grow all this moss and slippery stuff all over them.
Yeah.
It's but the wave itself is really, really fun. It's like a warm water J-Bay.
Nice. But don't say that to Jordy Smith. Did you catch that last year? They said that to him. They're like, hey, it's kind of like J-Bay. He's like, no. And they're like,
Well, it is different, but the thing about this wave is a point break, but it actually has good push behind it. I would say, way more push than let's say lowers. It's got more power.
Okay.
You're going faster on this wave, for sure.
I like trestles.
And it's hollower.
I like trestles on the World Tour because it is a little bit weaker, and it's kind of like you can't hide any flaws in a weak wave. Like you have to be athletically perfect.
Right. You need to have touch.
Touch. Write that
down. Basketball is, you shoot a basketball, you got to have touch. You have a good touch to it, or football when you're throwing a football.
No, well,
Yeah.
no.
Not every throw is going to be 100 miles an hour Josh Allen bullet. You got to be able to lob it up there in the corner of the end zone.
Yep.
Yeah. Josh Allen can throw it. He can throw it hard. He also learned a very important lesson when he was young. Sharing is caring, which doesn't actually carry over to the pros, but that's another conversation.
I'm more of a Justin Herbert fan, to be honest, but
so am I.
I'm the guy's got a cannon.
The dude has a cannon. And
he can huck the pigskin, that's for sure.
Yeah, he definitely can. Dora's not a small dude.
No, he's pretty tall too. I would say he's at least 6 foot.
Yeah.
Maybe he's taller. I don't know. I don't know him really well, but every encounter I've had with him, he's been a really humble, soft-spoken guy, and people say good things about him. He's a nice guy, really nice guy.
He got above the lip.
Oh God, that's one of his strengths for sure.
But he looked like he was at a next level in this final.
Yeah, he kind of in my eyes, this year has moved into a different category. Like he's gone up a level to where, I would say he was in the beginning of his career, and a phenomenal surfer, maybe a tier 2 surfer. Because when we're talking about the best, we're obviously talking about John, and we're talking about Gabriel. And I don't know if he's on John or Gabriel's level now, but he's definitely moved up. Some guys stay kind of stagnant, some guys move down, and it's always good when you can keep evolving and moving forward. Yeah. Which he has, which is good to see. It's good to see those guys push each other and see guys like, you're like, wow, I didn't know that guy had it in him. Like, he went to Chopu and charged, and he's not even known to be a charger. So that's like cool when you see that.
So what do we got going on here? It seems kind of slow. Are we in between sets or something? What's
long lulls?
Southern swell this time of year and this part of the world. With the longer period waves, which are substantially better for wave energy conversion, right? They're more reliable, right? They steer themselves in, but with that, you get longer lulls.
Okay.
So these guys they come.
So I remember you mentioned, Bill, before that they determine the length of the heat based on that, right?
They can change it. How often would they change the times?
Oh God, they were really rigid when I was doing it, but now they've gotten looser to where they can like move things around, which I mean by move things around is add time if they need it, if it's really
like in soccer, they'll add some time at the end.
But they have to do it before the heat starts. They can't
it's set.
Oh yeah, you can't change it. That would be really unfair.
This championship live rankings. John's tearing it up.
Yeah
100%.
Yeah,
he's well ahead. He's already clinched, so he'll be in the top 5, even if he just loses every heat until the last contest of the year.
So he's on the U.S. team for Olympics?
He is on the U.S. team for Olympics, but in here he's represents Hawaii. Which is something that surfing does that's different than everybody else.
Yeah, it's kind of always been that way in surfing, but the Olympics is not having it.
It's not. I think they give pro surfers the option for Spain as well to say they're from Catalonia.
Really?
I didn't know that. I have to Google that.
I know.
So there's a rock in here. Sorry.
Yeah, that rock's. I've
not the deal.
Experienced that rock.
So did I. First wave. I went down there on a trip. Literally the first wave. And I just, decided it would be a nice thing to just scrape my back across it.
Oh, God.
My buddy was just like, no help whatsoever, like full medical training, all this other stuff. And he's just like,
he's surfing too. He was surfing too.
You idiot. And I was like, all right, I had that coming. But yeah, first wave of the trip.
Yeah, that is one of the more dangerous ones. Sometimes getting caught inside there, if you get caught inside, you really feel like you're really close to the rocks, like where you can't really duck dive. You kind of just starfish it. And hope for the best. Geez. And hope you don't get pushed backwards.
Here we go. Here's the first one. It's John.
Yeah.
Look at his year end. But here we go. First wave.
Nice.
John,
he just looks
Florence.
So at home, and he looks like he's having just so much fun. Like, oh my God, that was incredible.
There he is. So that transition, he had a little bit of moving his foot on that one, but that transition was there.
Yeah, he's pumped.
Yeah,
that dude. Yeah, he's good to go.
I mean, that's phenomenal. That's the world's best surfing right there. That's a win. Right now, that's the world's best surfer. So, and
back from injuries.
Yeah, he's worked really hard. He's had a plethora of injuries.
Right,
I know that feeling.
So waiting for scores. What is that? What would you score this at?
It's hard to say,
I would have to give this a mid-8, even though it's only 2 turns and that thing. But I just love the height and the transition down and the smoothness of how he made it. Not to mention this turn, boom, blows the tail out. Could almost got a barrel.
That's what I paused on, Well, he could have got a barrel, but he was angling for that air, and so that's why he wasn't going into it. So right here, he could have actually pulled into the wave, which is, prior to that.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously he made the right choice, and that was a way better thing to do. That's going to get more points than a little barrel right there, so...
Is it okay that his foot came off the board?
Oh yeah, that doesn't matter.
No.
It's how he lands and comes out of it so cleanly. He doesn't have any hiccup.
He's back at it.
Yeah, he's just back into a bottom turn, and he's got Yago Dora, so he knows Yago is going to take to the air too.
Okay.
So I think establishing himself first, like, hey, I got I got big airs too.
Oh, Yago's. So while John is surfing,
Oh yeah, this is when he decided he didn't like one of the fins in his board.
Yeah, he is so lucky, man, that he didn't really hurt himself on that one. That could have been bad.
so he's going in to get a.
Yeah, he's happy that his fin broke. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, no. I broke a fin on my rear end at Toto's.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
didn't even know it. And we're there having food, and like my buddy thought I knew it, I didn't. And so I was getting ready to I was putting my board back on. He's like, "You're taking that board out with 2 fins?" I was like, "What?" And I looked, and I had a cut in my wetsuit and everything.
So that's his crew. Or that's his
caddy.
His caddy.
His caddy will be out in the water just waiting there with a spare board in case something happens. And then the caddy will probably go in and grab another one and get back out there in case something happens again. Because you're in the final right here. You can't be messing around.
Yeah.
Oh, they're all trying to get air now. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, the score came in 8-5. You were right, mid eights.
He might have cheated on it.
Pretend you haven't seen this before.
Believe me, I don't remember other people's scores.
All right, so when you're competing, are you watching the other guy? Like, can you see what he's doing, or you're
I mean, you
behind the wave?
Some people don't look on purpose; they just don't want to get psyched out. But you're always going to hear the crowd. Of course, like if someone says something big, and you're just hoping, like when you hear the crowd, that well, hopefully they fell. But yeah, this right here, ooh, God, man, that was. There's been a couple famous surfers that have taken it right up the gazoo right there.
Oof. Oh.
Yeah,
Schwack.
Tom
there we
Carroll
go.
and Jerry Lopez.
Oh yeah.
So this wave seems a lot slower. We just watched Chopu, and this seems like they have more time.
It is. It's a longer wave, and you've got to. There's more to do to get that score. I mean, because it's Chopu is it's almost in a way like you're going to
There we
pull on this
go.
big barrel. And it's about surviving. Obviously I'm speaking out of turn here.
But it's a point break, so they're going to be looking for different things. Like that's why John doing that big air instead of pulling into the barrel, even though the barrel it would have been fun, to get what they want to do, which is win this contest. They know that it's not going to be that little barrel that wins. It's going to be that huge above the lip air rotation. So and there's our fearless leader,
Strider.
Strider.
He's a good surfer in his own right?
Yeah, Strider charges. He's had a couple big waves at Pipe. That was kind of the wave he liked. He likes left barrels. He probably hates going to J-Bay, but he loves the big left barrels.
How does he end up being the in-water announcer? Because I would rather be the onshore announcer.
Yeah, me
Is it
too.
paper, rock, scissors? Is he just really horrible at it, or
I don't know, considering that he looks very Irish, that might not be the best. Being in the sun all day, it seems like might not be the best idea, but
Is he out there the whole contest?
no, not the whole
Just the big
contest.
ones, just the final.
I think he just likes being in the water. Yeah,
Another look here at John.
there you go, John.
This is
just
a replay.
carving it up. This wave, you can tell it's a great backup score, and you couldn't really surf it much better. Even here, wave gets really mushy and soft, and he throws a nice air. The only thing is it's a backup score. That's just making sure that at the end of the heat, he doesn't need, let's say, a 6 to win the. He's got that now. So now he's got to. Every time you get a score, your goal is to improve on that score on the next wave.
awesome?
It doesn't actually always materialize that way, but
But if you got it, it's in your pocket. You can feel a little bit better about it.
right, he's got an 8.5 and a 7.8. He on
That's
one
pretty strong, right?
his 8.5 he did 2 turns, and on the 7 he did about 6. So it goes to show you the degree of difficulty that huge air he did, and how the judges, they want to score off difficulty.
Who are the judges? Are they guys like you? Have they asked you to judge?
No,
No.
they're guys that just kind of work their way up through the amateur ranks and then the pro ranks, and a lot of ex-pro surfers don't want the job.
Because you're judging your friends. Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
some
yeah.
emotions that come up to the.
Well, not only that, but I was on tour for 20 years. I was when I left, I was done. Like, I don't want to get back on tour. If you're a judge, you're back on tour, and you got to be there till the end of every single waiting period because you're a judge. You know, so when I was on tour, if I lost early, I could just bail and go home.
Oh, yeah, you're there the whole time, no matter what.
It's so
true. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I never really thought about that. You know,
what I think they should do is get some pro surfers on the panel from different events. I think that would be a really good thing, even for the sport, just to, pay some of these guys, like, I don't know, like a Shane Dorian to show up and just do one event. Shane judging Pipeline or Chopu, like, most guys on tour don't have as much experience out there as he does. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
That's a good point. Well, I watched the Apple series, Make or Break. Yeah,
yep.
It's super cool.
Great.
Right?
They did a great job.
Great job filming. The one thing I noticed is in the judging, like, there's the judges, right? And then this guy's like, well, hey, he needs a 8, he needs a 7, and I'm like, I don't like that. Like, he should keep that sign. Like, each judge should judge each wave on that own wave's merit with no other input or information.
Yeah, I think the judges should not be able to hear scores. Like, they should have headphones on. They could be listening to music, whatever. And I also think there should be some events where maybe in the final you don't give them scores. Let them go at it. Let's see what happens. Like, maybe I think they just need to mix things up on tour.
How do you determine a winner with no scores?
Well, no, they would be scoring. They just wouldn't be giving the guys their scores when they're out in the water.
Oh,
yeah.
Then
now they're surfing like, okay, well, I'm not going to pull it.
Then everyone on the beach is going, oh my God, like, that's how it used to be because we didn't have live scoring. So everyone would be around the podium because no one knew who actually won.
You come into shore like unknowing, right?
Yeah, you would just not know. Your friends would be like, I think you did good, and sometimes you lost. And you're like, you said I did good. And they're like, I thought you did good.
like in boxing.
Yeah.
Like in boxing, you don't know the score until
exactly.
the end, right?
And a lot of this, especially for the final, it is boxing. There's no advancing anymore. You're in the final. This is it.
One against one.
You guys start swinging.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, I've surfed here. I love it. Like, this is a great wave. It's a phenomenal wave. Also, like, you can get down there, like, fairly quickly. Watch this wave here.
Big props to El Salvador, man. They've really cleaned the place up. I mean,
they've done,
and it's a lot
insane.
safer.
Yeah.
The first time I went was '94, and it was a lot different.
Ooh.
There we go.
Yeah.
Let's get Dora on the board. Come on.
Oh, he's feeling it.
Well, he just had to jump on a board that he hasn't been riding, even though it's his backup. So he's, it takes a minute to kind of go, okay, this board's a little bit different. And also, too, like, he's going to take to the sky and he's going to spin. So, he can do everything else. It's not the airs that he would need to work on. It would be more like his turns and his placement of turns. And even though, he nails his first one.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a great turn with speed coming out of it. Here, I'm not sure that was the right turn selection. Obviously not, because it didn't work out.
Is that enough to get him a decent score?
No,
not even.
Not even. That's a throwaway. So right now, he doesn't even have a keeping score, and it's, they're in what, 10 minutes? They got 20 to go, but 20 minutes is a long time.
Do you guys talk to each other? Does anyone talk trash?
Some people do.
That is a phenomenal question. I love that. Who talks trash?
Well, I think it might be this guy.
Trash. With a reason of safety, who talks trash in the past?
Well, I mean, it's not like they're talking trash. They're just playing mind games. Like, Kelly's was famous for mind games, right? Like he would try to talk to you and then get you in a conversation, get you distracted, and then you make a mistake.
See ya.
Yeah. And so then everyone kind of caught on to what he was doing, and then people were like, "Don't talk to him." And then he would try to conversations, and people would just not acknowledge him.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
It's pretty awesome. It wasn't until Andy came along where it was like, "No, that didn't work." You know what I mean? It didn't work on Andy.
Andy's just pure gasoline.
Yeah, he wasn't having it. Yeah, I think it's the first one to kind of be Kelly's kryptonite.
Oh, that's incredible. That's super cool. What about Martin Potter?
This is a big mistake. This was a little bit of a mistake on John. He let Yago go on this wave,
And he has priority.
and
right?
he had priority. And I'm pretty sure Yago gets a great score in this wave.
Is this the first big
There we
air he
go.
does?
That's
Aggressive third
that's a
step.
Here we go.
4 good great turns, 5.
The rhythm evident
You know,
down the line
that's
for
just a little
Yago
turn,
Dora,
but then
repeatedly
this, wow! I
snapping on
mean,
the
that
leg.
was
Pumps it up, puts it
yeah.
back into it.
Ooh.
John
So
But good in a way because he's gonna get priority again because he'll get out to the.
yeah, without John realizing it, that him falling right there definitely helped him get priority when he going back out because Yago just got probably the best score of the whole heat. So now all of a sudden he was comboed, and now he's going to have a bigger score than John and need.
Was that
Sweet flow, right?
8-7?
He did try to do
No, it'll be above.
9?
Yeah, it'll be in the
But what he did
9s.
do is
So now
tap
his
into
score,
the
what
rhythm
he'll
of the
need
wave.
won't be that
And once he
bad.
tapped into
It
the
could
rhythm
be
of
in
the
the
wave,
high
he
7s.
started full assault.
But
This right
you know,
here
those are just
should get
decisions you
Yago
make
Dora
out
back
there, and
into
you live and
the
die
Libertad
by 'em.
action
Like
with
John's
John
wave
Florence.
looked like a great wave right here, but it just kind of didn't give him a lot of lip to work with. And then he came to this, and that obviously would have been a much better score. He made that, but Yago's wave lined up all the way through really cleanly. Like he kept tagging it and tagging it.
Now, John did it. They were almost simultaneous,
Yeah.
right? So how does a judge handle that?
But they can watch replay
They
now.
can write- okay.
Yeah, before they didn't have that.
Oh, so
And sometimes they would miss
Miss-
your turns, and you'd be like,
that was the best way.
yeah, yeah, I've had that happen before. They're like, oh, sorry, we were watching the other guy. And you're just like, what?
I have a rule, throughout surfing in my life. Like, if no one saw it, it didn't happen.
I got a hole in one
Like,
once.
dude, I got a barrel. Like, anyone see it? Then you didn't. You were just exercising.
Yeah. Yeah, look, yeah, he's in the back.
It's the best exercise in the world, though.
It is, yeah. It beats golfing.
Yeah, hands down. Like
All right, if you guys were out there, would you be doing this stuff?
not those airs.
No.
No. I mean, my board usually stays on the face unless by accident. But I still try. I still once in a while get a crazy hair, and I go out and I try them and stuff. But for me, it's all about speed, power, and styles. Kind of what I work on. He almost got a 10. I mean, that's
Yeah.
9/8.
Yeah,
and
that's
now he
awesome.
only needs a 7 to win. So John's going to have to better a score. He needs to better that 7.8 to make it harder on Yago.
Martin Potter, one of my favorite surfers growing up. Did you cross paths with him? Is he
I
when he
knew
was
Martin.
still on tour?
I know Martin.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, my first year on tour, he was still on tour.
He a pretty animated guy, or
Yeah, he's fired up little man. He's real hairy and
he looks like he's designed not to fall.
yeah, he's got a low center of gravity.
Yeah.
Definitely one of the
Where's he from?
originally South Africa, Durban.
Oh, nice.
So
So he's like, is this like Sean Thompson era?
no, he
No,
would
what-
be after Sean.
Later.
Like Sean's career was coming to an end, and Martin's
That's The
was
Rock?
starting.
Yeah.
That's the one you scraped your back on.
I think that
I don't
more
think so.
inside, but similar kind of deal.
That's scary.
Yeah, Martin Potter. He'd be like the football equivalent, Austin Eckler.
No,
Really, really
Woodhead.
good,
Danny Woodhead.
Dang, maybe. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to.
But yeah, I mean, Martin was. He won a world title. He was one of the most dynamic surfers. It was just.
Big on the air game in the early.
He was
early
one of the
90s.
first air
Yeah.
guys. To bring airs in, really do it right, and start at least going for them a lot and making some. And then Archie came along, and then there was a whole push there with airs and stuff, and which it was really cool. Surfing
Yeah.
needed that, and it was progression, and then it became where it was like, there was air guys and there was power guys, and then eventually and finally it all blended together, which it needed to, because
No, that's cool.
you need to do airs need to be in it, but with style.
Yeah.
Then you should be able to do all the other things as well, and now these guys can't.
Is that because of their fitness and the equipment?
Yeah,
Everything?
a lot
Airs
of
lead to
that.
injuries too. Yeah,
A lot of injuries. Yeah,
Ah.
I don't know how. I mean, we really don't know what these guys will look like when they're 60 with all their huge airs and landings because you fall more than you make, right?
Yeah.
And your tissues and your ankles and your knees, they can take so much, but and you're fine in your 20s and 30s. It's just we'll see where everything is when they're 60.
I was walking in Foodland on the North Shore, and I remember my girlfriend at the time. I just got done lifting. I had like a protein shake in the blender, the old big ones. I go, let's go, hurry up, let's go. I'm like, God, you words. Like, okay, I'm gonna get in the car. So I just took the whole thing with me. So I'm walking around like Foodland, and I got this whole blender, and like I see Matt Archibald, and he's just like, dude, like, what are you doing? And he had like crutches because I think probably from Ayers, And I was just like, you want some? And he's like, no. But he kind of gave me like, dude, you're funny. Like, and that was it,
Yeah, Archie's great. I just surfed with him the other day. I love Archie. He's the
Really?
best. Yeah,
That's awesome.
He's
He's still
super
surfing.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's still ripping.
Yeah, that's incredible.
He's the man.
Where's your spot these days? Where do you like to?
You
might
it's
not get a true answer here.
Summertime, so.
Oh, you don't want to give it up, right?
No, it's just I'm more of a winter guy. There's way more waves to surf in the winter, especially in San Diego.
You can roll up and park.
Yeah, it's not as crowded.
Yeah. The summer is like, Oceanside gets a lot of south swell, coarse trestles, but they're both pretty crowded. I mean, it's no secret. There's a lot of waves that people need to kind of travel for waves in summer because,
I like the cold.
I like the cold. I like it when everyone's got their home break vacant. Then they don't have to travel.
No, I like, every break's breaking, Okay, so crowds and surfing. World Tour, which spot is the easiest place to get a set wave for your average surfer? So out of all the World Tour spots.
For sure, Snapper. No.
Trestles, it's Saturday afternoon.
Yeah. Totally. 100% trestles
Stop
on a
by
Saturday.
Costco first and get your boards,
Foam board.
No, the easiest place, let's see. I would have said Chopu before, but now I know there's a lot of locals there now. When I first started going there, it's just like a few locals. I know there's a growing surfing population there. J-Bay's definitely got its own crowd. Yeah, that's a hard one to be. Even this spot now is
got some
crowded.
dudes on it. It's got some, and they're good.
Yeah, they're good and they're getting better and there's a bunch of groms and it's hard to get away from people, man. It's really you go to the North Shore, you might be able to there is a lot of different breaks there. You can slip away to one of the more not famous ones and get out early in the morning and get a few waves before cuz local guys are like it doesn't matter when they wake up, they're going to get their waves. You know what I mean? So
And that's their job.
And for us guys, we've got to work around that, right? So we want to you try to get a couple waves and get up. We got to get up super early and get out there.
Or you can cheat like I do and go surf
On a Navy base?
on a Navy base.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to my son coming back. There's
actually no Navy bases you can surf on in California. A lot of people don't know that there's zero.
That's true. That's true.
We're not surf on California. Let's start that rumor.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's why I gotta wait. I need a friend that is in the service. So.
And your son's in the service. Shout out to your son.
Yeah, Hunter's. He's doing great, and he just found out he's gonna get restationed in San Diego. So
Nice.
we're happy to have him back after a few years of him being gone. So.
Yeah.
Stoked about that for sure.
And he's got a backhand barrel that.
Dude, yeah, he's really improved his surfing by being over there. So.
Yeah, Guam is no. There's no surf in Guam, right?
Yeah, no
Unless you're
surfing
out
Guam.
surfing.
Don't go there.
Yeah, that's a place that's just in the middle of nowhere.
Although he has become this fisherman now, and I'm like, I'm not much of a fisherman, but he's like, Dad, you're gonna have to be a fisherman because I'm a fisherman, and we're gonna go fishing. And I'm like, yeah, okay, maybe, maybe.
I'll eat it. I'll eat the fish.
I have the patience of a lemming next to a cliff. I do not like fishing. You know what I mean? Like negative.
Well, there's a certain amount of time in the day, and what my son doesn't have is his 7-year-old sister. So that's what I have, and that takes time.
Just teach her how to gut fish.
Yeah. Oh, she would. She would in a heartbeat. You know, my other daughter's 25 and a horse wrangler, and living in Montana. So
That's awesome. Yeah.
they're all over the place.
Nice.
I'm like, I just try to spend my time catching up to wherever you guys are. Just to see
You're all
you
over-
guys.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to keep my boys from like throwing things in the house.
right.
Like, if you have boys and they're young, like, don't buy anything new. Like, they're just like, hey, Dad, like, I got cheese all over the couch. Like, oh my God, what'd you clean it up with? Yeah, clean it up?
Yeah.
It's still there.
It's still there.
What do you think I was telling you?
Yeah.
Then you go out there and the dog's like, I got it. I got your back. You're
Yeah.
like, thanks, guys.
Nothing like a good dog. It's like a vacuum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We both have TSDs, Tijuana Street Dogs.
Oh, I do too. I have a well, mine's from El Centro, but she was
Fair.
a street dog. She's
Yeah.
a rescue.
Yeah. I took him running this morning. Yeah.
Have you ever taken a dog surfing?
I have actually. I
Yeah?
got paid to do these dog contests.
Oh.
I got paid to be a judge. Yeah.
There we go.
And
That's awesome.
at first they called me and I was like, "You want to pay me to do what?" And I'm like, I thought somebody was like joking. I'm like, they actually have funding and sponsorship? Oh yeah, Purina, Petco, like
That's
these guys are
ads.
making prize money, like big. They're putting thousands and thousands of dollars into these surfing dog contests. But the best are the people. Because they're so weird. They're so weird. Dog people are just, it's a different thing.
Breed.
Yeah, it's a different thing, like.
Oh my God.
All right, we got 5 minutes left. I'm curious, what can you like? How do you know your scores out there?
They're telling them.
They're telling
They have
them.
an
Yeah, they're
earpiece or
announcing.
or
No,
a
they're
speaker?
just doing it over the PA.
PA.
Can they see them on their watch now? Do you know?
I don't know.
They should be able to,
Oh my
right?
God,
I think
I didn't even think about
the
that.
Apple Watch. I think.
Right.
I remember Leonardo was talking about that. Who is a phenomenal surfer in his own right.
John right here, 5 minutes ago. It's a pretty scary situation because Yago doesn't need much. And the saving grace for him is that he has priority. So if a wave does come in, he can get it instead of Yago or keep Yago off a good wave. But in this case, what you're watching right here, it's a 2-wave set. So John can't keep him off both.
Right.
Yeah.
And, Yago's... And that's, you kind of hope guys get waves at the end. It makes it way more exciting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I know these guys are probably friends, and they want... When you're at that level, you just want to... You want to both go at it.
You want a good.
You want to go at it. You know what I mean? Like, and if the guy wins and pulls the rabbit out of the hat, then you kind of tip your cap and you go, you know what? Good on you.
Yeah.
Good on you.
Yeah.
I mean, that 977 there has got to put a little fear, because that's not a big score he needs to win.
And he only needs a 7 to
Yeah.
win. And he can get 7 in his sleep.
This is we got 4 minutes left.
Yeah. So this is when it gets nail biting, because if a set comes in, John's hopefully not going to do what I did. And second, should I go on the first one, the second one? I don't know. Like, I'm sure he's got an incredible coach in Ross Williams, who's a good friend of mine, and he's just got John dialed in. This year it looks like John is really dialed in. I know that for him, he would much rather have the final be in a hollow.
Fiji.
Yeah, 10-foot Fiji. But hopefully this year at lowers we get a nice swell that's at least a couple feet overhead.
A nice long, like a traditional long period swell.
Yeah, but not too long to where there's those super long lulls. You're looking 20 seconds, 18 seconds, you're going to have long lulls. You want it to be around the 16, 15, that way you get more waves and everyone's going to get a shot. That's the one good thing about lowers is that there's a lot of the same type of waves out there. So everyone kind of has an equal chance on something that's similar. I guess that's what the attraction was with the wave pool, but the wave pool was too mechanical and it was just too mundane.
It's incredible to surf, not incredible to watch.
It's amazing to surf. It is. It's
mind-boggling.
Yeah, it is. But the part that is, it's not mind-boggling to watch.
Gotcha. Yeah,
because these
the one
guys
in Texas was fun. Remember we
Yeah,
surfed it?
that was
and,
awesome.
I just got over injury, but I was like, This is, yeah.
It was really fun. Besides the water, looking like it was lime green, but
It was lime green and slippery.
yeah.
It's like someone poured
But
olive oil.
they
into
hadn't
it or
even
something,
opened yet.
No,
that was
they-
we
remember,
got
there's
to ride it.
construction all the way
Yeah,
around,
we got
yeah.
to surf
All
it
right.
for anyone.
Here's Dora. Is this his last?
Yeah, and he knows with the body language that Wave's just not going to do it. And that was just what John wanted to happen. Like he's got priority. Yago is now scratching. He's getting desperate.
90 seconds, yeah.
But for Yago, he's thinking, hey, if I get a Wave, do one good snap and a huge air, I'll get my score. And that's what's scary. These
I mean,
guys
he
are
got it
so
8.
good. They can actually before when we were surfing, you actually catch a good shaped wave. These guys can take off on closeouts and just do a massive air and get a huge score. You couldn't do that when I was on tour before.
Did the tour used to score 3 waves versus 2?
Yeah.
When did that change happen?
That was like, I think in the 90s. We had tons of meetings about that.
Okay.
Extending the time and not starting from the beach and
Starting from the beach.
it's just craziness. It was like more of a triathlon,
It looks like John just took it from him.
Yeah, and John took this wave. Although this was a terrible wave, and I'm not sure why. Like he kind of left the door open right there.
For this one.
If something were to come, Yago would get it.
Yeah.
So
he should have let Yago take that.
I would, yeah. In hindsight, that was a mistake.
Okay.
Because Yago wasn't going to get a 7 on that, I don't think.
Roger.
It was too. The judges would have seen it and went, well, that wave is that's a small wave, and there's no chance of him getting any score on this. He's just coming in now. It's just over.
It's done.
Yeah.
Roger. America.
Which is a huge win for John because, he's a bigger guy, and he's also, everyone knows him for his incredible, fearless, shallow reef surfing. But it's, more of a level playing field for John when you're up against a Yago Dora in these kind of conditions. Because Yago can do huge airs just as big as him, and so it's a more level. But once you start getting some really heavy waves, that's when he separates himself from everyone.
Nice.
Yeah, he's like at a different speed, and he looks, watching him surf 12-foot pipe is like watching your local Grom surf 3-foot seaside.
Yeah,
The same levels of comfort are there.
Oh, for sure. Because
it's
Pipe
insane,
was his beach as a tiny kid.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all he knows. See, and there's so much, that hug right there between him and Ross, there's so much work that went into that. They both know,
That's his coach?
yeah, that's his coach. And he's part of the momentum generation with us. And he was on tour for, I don't know, a decade or something until he had a bad year. And it really was heartbreaking because he was coming back on the QS and surfing probably better than I'd ever seen him surf. And we were surfing this, or I wasn't with him the day, but he was surfing on the east side, and he broke his ankle really bad and just didn't come back from that. It kind of, and I swear, at that time, it was probably some of the best surfing I'd ever seen him do. He was on fire. It was like, oh yeah, he's gonna make it back on tour, no problem. And then that happened. So,
Dude.
it's life.
I just remember watching him there's an incredible film segment of him, and I think Jack Johnson's doing the music on it, and I just the way he's able to get it. It looks like he was getting his board up higher than anyone.
Yeah, he was really good at chucking a lot of spray.
Well, that's what I was going to say. He was getting his board up and then getting it back around with just these huge fans. As an older gentleman, traditionally, when I see a huge fan of spray, I'm like, yes, that is the mark.
Yeah, he had great technique, and growing up on the North Shore didn't hurt at all.
All right, so speaking of older gentlemen that we're getting up there, can we wear the old guys rules shirts now? Are we?
I'm not gonna wear those, but
You want to go discuss Traeger grill at the Costco?
Kirkland.
Kirkland, yeah. Buy all my clothes from Kirkland. God, no, negative.
not yet.
To each his own, though. I hope everyone's happy. Don't get me wrong.
It's funny.
This is great. Taylor, that was awesome. Thank you. Real quick, El Salvador, what would Wave Energy at this spot, what's the area like? What would Wave Energy do at a place like that?
Well, I think, I don't know I know that they have a new president or prime minister. I don't know what you call it. And
President.
He seems like hell bent on changing things down there and cleaning up some riffraff. And he wants that whole zone to be a surf mecca destination.
And can it be?
I think it can be, yeah. And he knows that what it's going to take. It's going to take people feeling safe when they go there, right? Mm-hmm. Still a lot of, infrastructure that needs help in rebuilding there too. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of energy down there in the water. There's a lot of, there's a lot of swell. It gets a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of stuff going on. It's really beautiful and untapped. There's tons of more area to grow. Mm-hmm. Like they're just basically on a strip on the coast, but you go inland like 10 minutes and it's jungle. I mean, you got
mountains, volcanoes.
Yeah.
Have you toured the volcanoes there?
No.
It's that, so I've been there where there's been some south winds or, whatever, what I mean?
Yeah,
right?
Devil wind.
And you want to go to a volcano? And I'm like, okay, yeah, cool. And like, next thing you know, like you're chilly.
Yeah.
You're up in the fog, up in the mountains, like having like, really nice steak dinner up on the side of the mountain. It's like super cool. Yeah, not what you would think at all.
No.
Right? Kind of like Alpine in the winter. It
Nice.
has a feeling like that. So it's really neat.
That's cool.
So they have long stretches of beaches, so part of our work is that, like I'm on Google Earth, like probably like 20 minutes at least, sometimes hours in a row, right? And so I got a pretty good view of, no stretch of the entire world on Google Earth. And so the thing where there's massive potential for wave energy conversion in El Salvador, all right? And not only that, there's the possibility of moving sand and producing some pretty high quality beach breaks in between those point breaks. There's also a couple of point breaks there where you could dump sand and kind of like put a sand bottom point break there where one did not exist.
Right. And that's the thing. It's with politicians, right? They're just looking at it like sometimes going, oh, these are just surfers that want to make surfing waves. Like they're thinking, how is that going to generate revenue from our city, our country, right? Yeah. I think what people don't understand is the impact of what surfers bring to an area. Because when they travel there, they're obviously there and they spend money. Right?
It's a 150-day minimum to be there.
Yeah, it's you're going to spend money, and so when they focus on stuff like in Oceanside, for example, it's like you look how many people are fishing off the pier. I don't know, 40 at the most, 50. How many surfers that go there? Mm-hmm. It's crazy. I mean, surfers bring way more revenue. Who's paying all the parking that goes surfing?
Parking. They're getting. They're eating.
No
one's more hungry than a guy that gets out of the water.
Right. And exactly. So I think it's just an old school way of thinking, and they just need to be educated on, look, surfers bring a ton of revenue. That's what you need. They bring more revenue than 6 volleyball courts. Mm-hmm. They bring more revenue than every fisherman that's going on that pier that may or may not buy something, and usually reuses fishing equipment over and over. And you have 400 surfers visiting there a day instead of 40. So they just need to be educated on hey, you look at snapper, they'd put the pipe behind the point, and whenever there's no sand or the sand gets bad, just turn on the pipe, dumps millions and millions of cubical meters of sand into the water. All of a sudden the wave's perfect, and within 24 hours that wave can be going from shit to perfect by just pumping sand.
That's the possibility that we're looking into. That's the potential that we have.
And you would need a forward-thinking politician to see that.
El Salvador, we were talking about that at length. El Salvador, Indonesia, someone forward-thinking who wants to work in that direction. I think he realizes that, hey, he sees the potential and the money. Hence the contest and all the infrastructure around there.
And there's a lot less tension when there's more surf spots to choose from, because not everyone is crammed into one. So you want to create more surf spots because it makes a lot more happy people. And what do happy people do? They spend money.
It's true. Yeah.
Follow us. More interesting things to come.